Hey everybody, this is Philip Diaz coming at you from Zaid Comics. I'm the writer of our upcoming graphic novel set to launch in August on Indiegogo. It's called Magic Cop, and I am one half of the best looking brothers in all of comics. So today we're going to do a comic review, and I've been really excited to talk about this one because it's been in the public eye, people scrutinizing it on the internet, on Twitter and YouTube, and people are saying it's sexist. And really, I think it highlights the reason, or gives a great example of how mainstream comics is really taking a decline downhill right now and forcing individual political culture and cultural opinions. And it's very unfortunate, but the comic that we're going to review today is, look at this beautiful cover, the Female Furies #1. I'm going to try to keep this video short. It is my first time reviewing a video on YouTube, but let's get right into it. And you've probably, if you're part of if you're a big comic fan, if you're on the internet a lot and you hear about the culture war that's going on right now, especially in comics and Comics Gate, then you probably heard about this comic. Now, right off the bat, I picked it up because I'm a huge Furies fan. I love Granny Goodness. I love Jack Kirby's Fourth World, and the art is immaculate in this book. Not only for what you're seeing on this screen right here, but we'll take a look in a second. And in fact, let's see right now. They do these flashbacks. And the art is done by the same artist. Her name is, right here, Adriana Mello. The artist is awesome. And we get that 70s super flat colors, very retro vibe. And we're not gonna look at all of the pages here, but I want to highlight some key aspects of the story. So the story revolves around Granny Goodness and her female Furies. And in my recollection, through all the media I've seen the Furies portrayed in, they're these badass death squad, basically the hit squad of Darkseid, the ruler of Apocalypse, and they're all villains. So this, just to lay it out for you guys, all the characters in this book are actually villains. Even the person they're trying to kill here is the mother of Darkseid, who rules Apocalypse. So Granny goes in and kills Darkseid's mother for him. As you can see, this is not so Granny Goodness. This is Goodness sans Granny right here. They made her younger. They made her super badass, pretty as we'll see. She doesn't skip leg day. But Darkseid asks if Granny has killed his mother, or it asks if his mother is dead, and Desaad, this man right here, takes the credit for it. And I kind of like that because that's kind of Desaad's character. But you could see where people say that I think the misogyny starts here, because the Darkseid and his council of men, it's a common theme where they're putting down Granny and the women in this book. So we'll move on. And I wanted to skip right to this page because this is the most controversial page, well, in a lot of people's opinion. So we see the old Darkseid's council right there, old-timey Steppenwolf, awesome Granny, super bloody. And later that night, we literally have, I'll let you guys read it, but Granny Goodness gets sexually harassed and assaulted and basically downright raped by Darkseid. And this left me speechless, because not only do I think that this act is below Darkseid, a god of death that just wants to enslave the universe, but I think it really degrades Granny's character, because to me, Granny Goodness is this torture queen. She raises these children that are enslaved on Apocalypse and turns them into fearless warriors, the best warriors in the universe. And she does it through loving and caring words, and it's all a guise. And it's highlighted very well in Tom King's Mr. Miracle, where just the cadence in the dialogue that Granny has with Scott Free and Big Barda, who she raised and who she tortured as children, and they literally have PTSD from it. You could see that what she has done to them as children has led to these severe self-consciousness in themselves and paranoia. And she's really a horrible person. So you have this point where you're taking this monstrous character who's homicidal and genocidal and pure evil, and you're giving her a reason to be that way. And the reason is that she's this broken woman that has had a trauma happen to her in her life, and it makes me feel sorry for her. And I don't want to feel sorry for Granny Goodness. She's an evil POS. I want her to be this badass tyrant, and this just takes it all away. And we'll move on from here, but I also wanted to highlight this page because she comes in and Darkseid said that he was going to give her ultimate power if he had her body, but no, he lied. He's going to put her in charge of the orphanage, and all of his council of men, as I like to call them, Steppenwolf and Desaad, they point fingers and laugh at her, and it's just comical. The way that the writer here, Cecil Castellucci, is portraying these characters and pumping this incredibly sexist story through these characters is, I think it's irresponsible as a writer. Here I wanted to highlight this really cool splash page. Again, the art, I love the art. Ureli is the best fighter of the Furies, and she's kind of their leader under Granny Goodness. Granny is showing off the Furies' fighting skills here on the splash page, and the men are just talking about how hot they look, or they don't look hot enough, and you can see it's highlighted in this dialogue right here. You're here to judge their abilities, not their looks. And Steppenwolf says, "We are, Goodness, you're overreacting." Oh man, telling her she's overreacting to a little bit of fun among friends. And so they all clap, and Darkseid says there's going to be a part 2 to the test, and Granny gets mad about that because they've proven themselves time and time again. So we could see in the locker room here getting ready for the second half of the test. And this guy, Willick, is the creepiest man on Apocalypse, but apparently you need them, because he just wants to go around and smell Ureli's hair. And this, I'm going to prepare yourselves, because I had no warning. When I saw what was happening next, I could see it out of the corner of my eye when I was reading this page, and it takes the book into a direction I thought it would never, any book should ever go. I don't know if Cecil is writing something serious here or a comedy, because it goes from shoving this cultural, political ideology down your throat with sexism and these men just being the grossest beings ever, and it turns it into a complete farce by literally having Darkseid and his council of men make the female Furies cook food for them, and they judge them. Look at, they're holding up cards. How is anyone supposed to take this book seriously when you have 40 plus years of Jack Kirby's Fourth World, and you're plugging this into the story? It gets even worse. Evening wear. They have to present themselves wearing dresses, and a smile contest where they're wearing bikinis. Darkseid's not amused. It's stuff like this the readers don't want this. And if DC listened to the readers more, they would realize that these are stories that are being written for the writer, not for the characters and for the audience. This is just a story that is about humanity, and it doesn't take us away from reality, and that's what comics are supposed to do. They're supposed to take you away from the problems of America and the world, and when you come home from work, you open up a comic to get whisked away to Jack Kirby's Force World, and not this at all. So of course, Darkseid was not happy with their smiles. They should have smiled more, and apparently they fail. And again, the men are just mocking Granny Goodness, laughing at her. Better luck next year, Granny. And she's making the face that I made while I was reading this book. And as we wrap up here, not a lot that I wanted to point out except for the creepy guy, Willick, comes to Granny, and he likes Urelli because apparently she's the hottest. And he pays Granny off to have Urelli get private lessons from him, which this is about the coolest thing in this comic, or this coin is about the coolest thing in the comic. I really like the coin. It's pretty badass. she really likes the coin too, apparently. So we get this kind of mirror. I think Cecil was trying to mirror the actions of Darkseid with Granny right here, because Urelli doesn't want to go and do his creepy private lessons. She actually calls him a creep, and Granny says, "No, you'll do it. You must obey me," just like Darkseid. Darkseid said at the beginning when he Me Too'd her. And then thus commences the creepiest montage in comic history, where she goes and they train, and they're doing a little bit of Chuck Norris sidekicks over here, and a lot of butt grabbing and waist tickling, and this freaking panel is the creepiest, most hilarious panel. I don't know what he's doing, but it's freaking me the frick out, okay? And it just continues with this harassment until she's like, "I've learned enough, and most of all the things you showed me were basic, and I'll decline further instructions." And he literally says, "You'll come again and again, or I'll have you demoted." Man. What? I mean, I thought Earth was bad. Apocalypse is... I mean, it's supposed to be 900 times worse, right? And that's all I really wanted to point out. The book ends with Urelli murdering Steppenwolf's son, cutting his head off, basically, and her and Barda hide the body. I could see why this book was being talked about nonstop, and I won't be purchasing it again. If you guys enjoyed the review and can see my view or have a different opinion of it, definitely leave it in the comments. I think this is where mainstream comics are going, and I don't blame people, independent creators, breaking off and doing their own thing, like what we're doing in Comicsgate. And because we're listening to the fans, what they want to see in comics, and that's great stories. And this was not a great story. It had nothing to do with the Fourth World characters, and I didn't enjoy it one bit. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what's going on. I have our Twitter handles are down there, as you can see, at Zade Comics. Send us a message, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.